The afternoon sun was just pounding down on my old ranch when I heard that familiar crunch of tires on gravel. Never a good sign when you live off the beaten path. I look out my kitchen window, and what do I see? But two sheriff's cruisers rolling up my private drive lights flashing, like it's some kind of five-alarm emergency, and there's Karen Whitfield, arms crossed, chin up, bouncing on her heels like she's about to win the county fair. She's the new HOA president 6 months in and already treats the title like she's queen of Willowbrook Estates. Honestly, if you've never met someone who can weaponize a clipboard and a fake smile, count your blessings. So I set down my coffee and stepped onto the porch, tugged my belt tight. Old habits die hard after 25 years as a U.S. Marshal, you know what I mean? The lead deputy walks up. Kid can't be more than 23, hand resting on his holster like he's in a movie while his partner hangs back, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. Karen, of course, is right behind them, waving her arms around and barking orders like she's directing traffic. "Sir, we received a report of trespassing and illegal occupation," the deputy says, trying to sound tough. I swear, Karen's eyes lit up. She looked so satisfied you'd think she was about to receive an award. I reached in my back pocket and pulled out my old badge. Just for effect, the sunlight caught the gold, and suddenly both deputies are standing a little straighter. U.S. Marshal retired, I say, and you could see the deputy's expression flip from stern to just plain shocked in about 2 seconds flat. Karen's smug little grin gone melted away like butter on a hot sidewalk. Let me back up a sec, just so you know how we even got here, me facing eviction from my own land by the neighborhood busybody. When I retired, I bought this 40-acre spread exactly because it wasn't under any HOA nonsense. It's been zoned agricultural since the 40s, long before Willowbrook Estates was ever a twinkle in some developer's eye. I wanted peace and quiet, just me, my horses, and the open sky. What I got was a headache named Karen. 2 weeks after I moved in, I get this letter, official-looking HOA letterhead. Even had a little house and picket fence on it, probably her own design. "Dear resident," it says, "your property is in violation of Willowbrook Estates standards. The violations were a joke, wrong color fence, it's just old wood. Too many structures. That'd be my 100-year-old barn, and best of all, maintaining livestock in a residential area." I walked over to her house that night, letter in hand, trying to be neighborly. She answered the door wearing business casual, if you can call yoga pants, and a blazer business. "Ms. Whitfield, there's been a mistake. I'm not part of your HOA," I said, showing her the deed. She just looked at me like I'd sprouted a second head. "All properties here fall under our governance," she said, slow and patronizing like she was teaching kindergarten. "Ma'am, my deed's older than your entire subdivision. You don't have any authority over my place." She barely glanced at the papers. "Well, we'll see about that," and slammed the door. That's when the real circus started. Next thing I know, she's at my fence line with a camera, making notes like she's on a wildlife safari. Violation notices showed up almost every day. Too many vehicles, I own 2 trucks and a tractor. Big whoop, improper landscaping, I grow hay noise complaints. My rooster crows at dawn. The best was the morning I found her on my property, measuring tape in hand, muttering to herself about setbacks. "You're trespassing," I told her. She spun around, clutching that tape like it was a sword. "Your chickens are too close to residential homes. County code says 500 feet. Actually, it's 50 feet, which I exceed by 300. And you're still trespassing." I pointed to my giant "no trespassing" sign. "I'm conducting official HOA business," she snapped. "On land you have no say over. Leave now." She stomped off, but not before saying she'd take it to the highest levels. 3 weeks later, I'm fixing a fence when I hear someone fighting with my gate. Karen had actually climbed over my locked entrance, strutting over with a manila folder like she's serving a warrant. She's sweating and furious. "Mr. Williams, this is a cease and desist. You're to vacate immediately." She shoves the paper at me. I look it over and it's just laughable, clearly printed off the internet citing HOA rules that don't apply county ordinances. She twisted out of context. "Karen, this isn't worth the paper it's printed on. You can't evict me from my own land, and you're trespassing again." Her face got redder. "I'm the HOA president. My authority extends to all properties affecting our community." "No, it doesn't. And if you don't leave, I'm calling the sheriff." She laughs. "Go ahead, tell them Karen Whitfield sent you. They know me." She pulls out her phone and calls 911, reporting a dangerous squatter refusing to vacate and frightened for her safety. You know that fake trembling voice people use when they're trying to get someone in trouble? That's what she sounded like. So now we're back at the scene, two deputies, Karen playing the victim, me just trying not to lose my cool. The older deputy, who's known me for years, steps up. Ms. Whitfield, you reported a trespasser, but you're the one on private property. Did you climb the gate? I have authority here, she insists, but her voice is wobbling now. No, you really don't. And filing a false police report is a crime. Her mouth opens and closes like a fish gasping on dry land. That's when I pulled out my phone, showed them my deed, the survey zoning documents, the whole stack. She's been trespassing despite written warnings, I added. The deputies looked at each other, then back at Karen. Ma'am, you need to turn around and place your hands behind your back. You can't be serious. I'm the HOA president. I know the sheriff personally. The deputy just looks at her and says, the same sheriff that worked with Marshal Williams for 10 years. She turns white as a sheet, but the cuffs go on anyway. Word travels fast in a small town. By evening, half the neighborhoods heard about their fearless leader getting arrested for trespassing on a retired federal marshal's property. At the next HOA meeting, it was standing room only. They actually invited me to speak about property rights and, the limits of HOA power. Karen sat in the back, out on bail face, frozen somewhere between rage and humiliation. When people started calling for her resignation, she tried to justify herself. I was protecting our property values. That ranch is an eyesore. That's when I dropped the real bomb. I dug into the HOA's files and found a proposal for an equestrian center that needed adjacent agricultural land, my land. The whole room gasped. One board member flipped through the folder, looked up and said, Karen, you tried to force Williams out to steal his land for your horse facility. It's not stealing, she shrieked. It's strategic acquisition. Someone shouted, it's fraud. And the vote to remove her was unanimous. She was banned from any HOA position forever. But the story didn't stop there. The DA got wind of everything and charged her with trespassing, false police reports, harassment, and attempted fraud. 6 months later, the judge didn't hold back. You used your position to harass a law-abiding owner, wasted police time, and tried to steal land through intimidation. She got 18 months probation, 200 hours of community service, and 15 grand in fines. Karen's jaw hit the floor. But I was trying to improve the community, she squeaked. No, you were trying to take what didn't belong to you, the judge said. As she was led out of court, Karen glanced back at me, face pale, eyes wide, finally realizing her reign was over. Now maybe you think that's the end, but around here everyone's still arguing about HOA's property rights and whether justice was really served. What do you think? Was I right to press charges, or did it go too far? I'd love to hear your take. Drop your thoughts below and let's get into it.